and Oversight. And here we'll be looking at the principle and best practices that are applicable within our different projects. Because in most cases, most organizations, we might find out that we are probably the main contractor, and definitely we're going to be dealing with a lot of other contractors who do a lot of job along the project phases and all that. There's this opportunity for us to manage different kind of contractors within the project site. So here we're going to be learning or going to be refreshing ourselves with some of those principles and best practices, which to us, I believe is something that we've all come across, before. So it's a good thing for us to refresh our memories, regarding all these things we're going to be discussing today. So going forward, in a brief, well, I say definition or explanation, we can say contractor safety management and oversight refer to
I cannot see your screen again.
Are you sure?
Yeah, your slide is not showing.
It's not showing?
Yeah.
Can you see now? Can you see?
No, we can see you. We can see the.
Okay, stop sharing. Let me stop sharing and share again. Let me stop sharing and share again. Now, on our voice, they go, that gypsy board. That's what I advise you guys to go to the lounge. Can you see it?
I think it's coming.
Just let me know if it's visible now.
It's coming now. It's coming. It's coming. It's visible now. It's visible now.
It's visible now.
It's okay.
Just a minute.
Maybe you can make it full screen.
I'm trying to do that. The screen is frozen. I don't know why. Okay, just like I said, the contractor safety and oversight refer to the systematic process, policies, and practice organization use to ensure that their contractors operate safely and in compliance with health and safety regulation while on site. And it is important that effective oversight is critical because contractors often face higher risk, and in many situations, this amounts to the higher incident rate we find within the project site. So, different contractor with a different safety culture, training background, most often this situation also affects why we do have an high incident rate when dealing with contractors, or if we're not dealing with them properly within the site. Now, there's some statistics that within the United States that shows that contractor account for most workplace incidents, serious incident, about 56%, of incident that happen is as a result of poor contractor management on sites. And in some cases, we have companies without formal contractor oversight, due to management gap. This accounts to about 38% of why such an incident will occur on site. And in the United States, we have about $156,259, amounted to a kind of cost of per wakeful violation within the industries in the United States. You know, that industries or companies, organizations who violated OSHA regulation with respect to managing contractor on site and all that, and probably resulted to an incident or any other penalty as a result of not following this safety rules or guidelines. So, and also there's also an impact of contractor injury on the United States business, you know, because it amounts to about $13.9 billion. You know, you could understand what that would be an effect, what kind of effect that would be to a business within the United States. We are just talking about a particular country. So if you look at it globally, you now understand the costs implication, you know, of poorly management of contractor. So going forward, I will just use an XYZ organization that implemented comprehensive contractor safety management. And I was reliably informed that the result was remarkable in the sense that they have a 73% incident reduction within a space of 18 months. And in respect of digital management, they implement a contractor management system where using a digital software, you know, that also enhance and their management of contractor generally. And about 215% more near miss reporting, because the more you report near miss, which is a form of leading indicator of safety culture improvement, it gives you an avenue, you know, to make some correction prior or preventing accidents, you know, in the future. Because when you have more near miss reporting, that will be able to help you foresee the unforeseeable factors that could lead to accident on site. And this also amount to about $3.8 million dollar savings, you know, because it has to, when you have less accident, there will be a kind of reduced liability, insurance premium will reduce and all that, you know, and there will also be loss of that can also increase less accident, more productivity, more accident, lesser productivity. So it goes on and on like that. So when we look at the management of contractor or the oversight of a contractor generally, you know, interchangeably, I might be using the word management of contractor because it means the same thing, but our today's topic, we're coming in a different dimension. So we need to look at the pre-qualification and selection of contractor. It is very, very important because this first stage of managing contractor is very, very important, because when we lose it at this stage, then I think any other thing we try to do along the line, we will just be struggling. We will just be struggling because it is important, because I've been in an organization where we have contracts with other big multinational companies. So I know the requirement, I know what they always need, they ask from, you know, from our organization in terms of health and safety, because I was managing the health and safety department. So I know a lot of documents, even from the aspect of sending tenders, bidding for the project and all that. So there are so many things they ask. Okay, so most of us might be in that position one day, or might presently be in that position, or maybe we have been practicing it. But like I've said, this our discussion today is just to refresh us, and for those who don't have the opportunity of being exposed to such processes, we need to refresh ourselves and have this at the back of our mind. When we have the opportunity, then we begin to apply. So we need to look at the safety metrics, and we need to evaluate the organization as well, because implementing formal pre-qualification system, you know, is very important, because we need to check what we call the contractor EMR. You know, is most often used in the United States. You know, they call it experience modification rate. And in most cases, when an organization has it at because the average level is 1.0. So, and the most, I think, vital aspect of it is that is a tool that they can use to manage. You can be able to determine how often an organization has gotten violation, has involved in accidents, insurance, and so many things. So in this case, you discover that if you have less than 1.0 or up to 1.0, it is fine. Because when they look at this metric, they can say, okay, fine, this organization has a good standing. We can award them this contract. But when you're having 1.1 and above, it means the organization has a series of workplace incident-related issues, and believing me, the organization is likely not to have such projects, awarded to them. So we have to look at it. It's very important. We have to check, because it's like checking. It's like when you say you're checking the incident history of an organization, looking at the violation, the organization has incurred either from international or local regulatory body within the country. So with all those matrices and parameters, you can be able to use it to judge and use your discretion and say, okay, fine, we can go on with this contractor or not. So historical performance, you have to review 3 years total recordable incident rate and all that. Look at the fatality record. We check, just like I've said, if it's within the United States, you check the violation record. If it's within other jurisdiction, we know what is applicable. So we have to check out all those things. We also need to look at requirement of the program, different programs that the organization have, because all those things, we are going to be required them to provide record of all those things. We have to look at their training record. We have to look at their employee. We need to look at the certification they have, the qualification, what kind of training, do they have any third party, in some kind of specialized area. Okay, maybe for example, you have a contractor who has a crane operators, for example. You will need a third party certification for such an equipment, and even for the operator, of such an equipment. So these are things we need to check. These are things we need to verify before we bring in the contractor, before they begin mobilization even to the site. Okay, so it is very important for us to have this at the back of our mind. There are numerous which I believe we all have experience about. So at the course of our discussion contribution, we can just continue to mention many of them. And also, it is very important that the contractual safety requirement, it is very important because in this aspect, it's going to be a kind of a legal document, because which might be coming from the aspect of the HSE department in collaboration with the HR and also the contract department. So there should be a kind of collaboration and understanding when it comes to this aspect, because when the project commences, if we fail in all these aspects, at the end of the day, everything will start coming to the safety.
No, the network is failing.
Sorry, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. It was Omojede. I think Omojede's network is bad. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So in the contractual safety requirement, it's very important that we include some kind of health and safety provisions, in the contracts with those contractors, requiring contractor to comply with all applicable either federal or state and local regulation. For example, we have the OSHA. In other countries, in Saudi, they have their own. In the UK, they have their health and safety executive. In Qatar, we know we have the Qatar construction specifications and all that. So, and some other site-specific rules. All those things need to be included, in the contractual safety requirement, because it is very important that all these things are included, so that once there's a breach of this requirement, you have every right, to terminate the contract, and you have every right to even sue the contractor as well. So I think all these things are very important, because if we continue to enhance this aspect of contractor management, this will be able to help us reduce accident to the barest minimum. So, and also it is required that contractor for them to develop and submit a site-specific plan for approval before work. okay, because they are supposed to visit their HSE department or whoever, the project management team. They visit the site, and look at what is happening, what they intend to do, what they are likely to encounter, and also submit to the main contractor to review all those things, and before they commence the project, which is very, very important. And also, part of the aspects we need to look at also is, or we need to bring in immediately this contractor are mobilized into the site. We have to ensure that each of these contractor personnel receive some specific training, or orientation related to the job activity that they are going to be doing. Some contractor, their work may just be focused around MEPs, So some might just be maintenance, depending on the organization. So we need to give them a kind of training and orientation with respect to that specific aspect of their job. And training should be able to cover some specific or the general hazard that is recognized within that project site. And also they need to be aware of the emergency procedure and the use of PPE and specific risks as it relates to the activity and to that project site. And also, with respect to ongoing oversight and monitoring, it is very important that in that site where this work is being done, as a main contractor, health and safety, we must ensure that we conduct a regular inspection and audit of the contractor activity in order to verify if they are in compliance with what is in their HSE plan or what is in our requirements, as the main contractor or as a client. We look, are they following the procedure? Are they following what they say they're going to do? Are they following what is in the contractual agreement? So that if they are not following, we can give NCRO and all that, so many requirements. So it is very important that this aspect of management of contractor is very, very important, because when we keep doing this day out and in like that, we discover that, like I've said earlier, we'll be able to manage the project without lost time injury. And another point is to maintain documentation of such an inspection and hazard assessment, and also corrective action within the specified period of the project. And also, it is important that we monitor the contractor performance, and provide feedback to them, So, and with the authority to remove any personnel for safety violation. Like I've said earlier, any contractor who or their personnel are not in compliance with what has been said, we have every right to take action within our scope of work. Now, in terms of incident and reporting and investigation, it is very important also that when dealing with this contractor, we must be able to inform them and give them a requirement that there must be an immediate reporting of injury, incident, near miss, or property damage, in the course of their work, in order for you as a client or the main contractor to carry out a proper investigation and deploy a corrective action in order to prevent reoccurrence, having understand the lesson learned from any particular accident. So, and also it's very important also within the client or the main contractor with other contractor to establish a clear channel of reporting of unsafe condition and also unsafe act or generally behavior of the contractor personnel, because it is very, very important, because most of those things that leads to accident, apart from the management failure aspect of it, we could see that it might be as a result of unsafe condition, unsafe acts, the way some workers behave on the project. So it is very, very important, because if you feel you have knowledge to manage your own team as a main contractor and you decide to lose guard with respect to other subcontractors and all that, this is going to be a big problem within such project, because you must be able to have a general oversight on the activity or what they are doing on site. So it is also very important that there should be a continuous communication and cooperation. It is very important, because if there is no sufficient and continuous communication, there's going to be a very big problem. The essence why we are on site, why the health and safety department is even established in an organization is to see how to help the organization to prevent accidents, to increase income in terms of return of investment. So for me, it is very important that we foster an open communication between the company's employee and the contractor to address risks and other issues, in order to align it with our safety expectation. And also, it is important we hold a periodic safety meetings to review the contractor's performance and address any other issues that might have arisen during the course of the previous meeting or the current situation as at the time of conducting such meeting. And also, looking at the best practices for contractor safety management, as a client, as a main contractor, we need to devise a means to integrate a safety requirement into contract and procurement process, which I've stated earlier. And also, it is very important to use documented plan for subcontractor oversight and ensure that all parties understand their roles and responsibility. It should be clear. It should be stated. They should be able to understand what their roles are and what their responsibility as well will be in such project. And also, it is also important we conduct both informal and formal audits in order to assess compliance and identify areas of improvement, and also to promote a prevention-focused approach with ongoing risk management before, during, and after the contractor activity. Another point also is to leverage the use of technology. With the age we have now, we find that we have a lot of application that we can use to carry out and report some kind of hazard, some kind of risk we find on our site, observation, reporting accident, a lot of stuff like that. Some application has a checklist. This will be able to help to streamline oversight functions and documentation process. It makes it more enhanced. Just like at this age now, we're talking of artificial intelligence, how this can be used to detect a lot of hazard, a lot of things, before accident happen on site. So these are the level at which we are going into. So as health and safety professional, whatever we are doing today, whatever we are given an opportunity to develop, to advise, we must always try not to throw away the technological aspects of safety. It is very important because if we throw that away, it means we are going to lose guard, as a health and safety professional, because for you to remain valid, for you to remain value in the profession, we need to have this at the back of our mind in order to leverage technology. I will say thank you for giving me the opportunity to make this presentation today. I would just want to hand over to Mr. Johnson the floor, so that those who have opportunities to share their experience or personal contribution will be able to do so. Thank you very much for listening.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen. Thank you, as usual, for...
You're welcome. I didn't even know I closed my video. It was full screen, so I wasn't seeing myself. I just noticed it now. Sorry for that.
That's fine. We are hearing your voice clear.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
I want to share briefly few slides in addition to what Mr. Stephen has shared with us. I hope you can see my screen.
Sure.
Yeah, I got the screen.
To put it in full screen. All right. So we are talking about contractor safety, and so Mr. Stephen has explained in essence what contractor safety is all about. So I just want to So I just want to give a brief summary of what I understand as contractor safety management. I said that is the system or the procedure that the organization follows to ensure that the contractors in the workplace, that they follow the same standard of health and safety as the full employee. Like we know that contractors are majorly temporary companies or temporary organizations who are taking up some specialized skills or specialized activities in order to ensure that the contract, the project, or the organization's process continues. So in order to ensure that the contractors follow the same standard of safety as the full or the full-time employees, then contractor safety management comes in place. That is simply how it is. So there are major challenges that the organizations face in managing contractor safety, and that is just few of them that I want to point out in few minutes. The first one is varying safety practice. You know, these contractors, they are coming from different organizations or different standards. So they might be operating on different levels of health and safety standard in the previous contract or previous project they've executed. So their standard might not match with the standard you already have. So that forms a challenge for the organization, which we must find a way to put through it. Now, the other challenge is the short project timelines, because some contractors comes to do a job of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, some even 1 week, some even less than that. So because they have short timeline, most of them do not believe that they need to prioritize safety. They think that since their job is just a short time, so no need to build up all that health and safety standards, so they can just maneuver their way within the short time and go. So this forms a challenge for the contractors, and we must find a way to work towards that. Then the other one is lack of integration. Contractors comes and they behave, they stay on their own. They be like a standalone company, and they don't want to fully integrate into the safety management of that organization. So that is a major challenge that we health and safety professionals or the main contractors face in management of contractors in the workplace. So let's look at some of the insights on how we can align contractors with the workplace standard. That is the major, where the major work lies. Since the contractors are coming from different organizations, they have different standards, and they are working on a very short time. So what do we do in order to align these contractors to our own organization's workplace health and safety standard? The first thing, just like Stephen have said, is pre-qualification and screening. They should be properly screened. You should have your standards enumerated. You should have listed what and what you require from that contractor, and they should be properly screened, not just taking a contractor from the roadside without doing proper screening. And that screening, we should be looking at their health and safety policies and the procedures, their past safety records, just like Mr. Stephen explained, their injury rate and all that. Then the next thing is there should be clear contractual obligations. You don't just bring a contractor to the workplace without stating clearly in legal terms what their roles and responsibilities are. At what extent are they responsible? So most contractors, because they are coming there for a short time, they feel that they are not responsible for anything. They are not responsible for any health and safety. They feel they can just work anyhow and move out. So there should be clear contractual obligations so that they know that this is their legal requirement. This is what is expected of them before they start up that job. Okay, then the other one is there should be proper and comprehensive orientation program. You don't just bring them to work and allow them to go into the workplace immediately. Proper site identification, personal protective equipment, reporting mechanisms, just like Mr. Stephen has said. So there should be proper orientation program in place before they begin their work. Communications, another one is communications. There should be adequate channel of communications. How do you communicate with the contractors? They should not be looking at who is the contact person, who is the focal point for each of the contractors. If not, they will not know who to talk to. They don't know who to take instructions from. So there should be proper and adequate channel of communication stipulated before the contractor comes on board. Then active monitoring. You don't leave the contractors in the workplace without adequately and continuously monitoring them, auditing them, and ensuring that they follow the contractual agreement. Then the other one is training and collaborations. You don't just allow them to conduct their trainings. You ensure that you measure the standard of training that they are giving to their workers, especially while they are still within your facility. So there should be adequate collaborations, ensure that the training that they give to their workers is sufficient and is adequate. Incident response and reporting. So there should be channels and proper incident reporting procedure communicated to the contractors and ensure that they follow. So with this, if these are properly communicated and if these are properly implemented, then we can say that we can adequately align the contractors to the safety standard of that organization. So the other thing that I want to So the other thing I want to talk about is some of the contractor management softwares. You know, with the invention of internet, it's now going digital. So there are some softwares that many organizations now use in order to ensure adequate contractor safety management, so that everything will not be manual. And there are some things that you will not remember, but if you have them already inputted in the software, then it cannot be overlooked or maybe forgotten in the pre-qualification process. The first software is, please, before I continue, just like a caution, I'm not advertising any of these softwares, and it's not, I'm not guaranteeing that any of them can give you the best result. So this is just for training purpose. So the first software is known as Aveta. Aveta has extensive contractor network and pre-qualification ratios already imputed in the software. So many organizations, especially in the US, are using this software to manage their contractors. What it does is that it has a strong supplier risk management and compliance assurance. It manages a large number of vendors for one particular organization. So it also has a risk assessment and auditing tools inputted in this software. It is used globally and is designed for organizations with complex supply chains. So that is Aveta for you. There's another one known as ISN Contractor Management. So this software is industry specific. It's used mostly in high-risk industries like oil and gas and construction. And it's majorly used as a benchmarking tool because it has data from different organizations within that same industry. So you can easily benchmark your performance with the performance of the other organizations. So that is what ISN helps you to do. So it also has a customizable platform. The platform is customizable in the sense that you can tailor exactly what you want to the software. The other one is known as Browse. Browse is majorly used in automation. So it's fully automated in the sense that all you need to do is to put in all your details and all your data of those contractors. It continues to monitor them. It continues to follow the onboarding, the qualification, and the compliance tracking. So it doesn't just stop after inputting the data. Continuously, it will be checking how maybe they enter the particular expiry date of any of the equipment or maybe any of the trainings. So this software will continuously monitor the expiry date, and as the expiry date approaches, it raises some signals. So that is how it helps to monitor health and safety compliance of the contractors. Now, there's another one which I've used. It's known as Inteles. Inteles has a comprehensive health and safety management platform. It has a detailed inspection and auditing. It also has a customizable forms and workflows, and it has advanced analytical and reporting tools. So these are some of the softwares that we are using in this age to ensure that we manage our contractor health and safety. So if you're not familiar with any of these softwares or any contractor management software, then you should be able to learn one or two of these tools because it's very vital and it helps to make the work easier and simpler. So that is the end of what I prepared. So I will now open the floor for others who have something to contribute to go ahead.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Quite an interesting discussion from Mr. Johnson and Mr. Stefan. For my side, I don't really have that much experience in managing contractors, but one thing I realize is I noticed that most of the times some contractors that are coming in, like the ones which are coming in to spend maybe like 1 week, or they don't have much time, or they are small in number, they don't take responsibility of maybe coming out with their one of the most essential documents such as risk assessment. Most of the times, I don't know why, but most of the times they are coming in to do one specialized activity, and they will not come with their risk assessment. Instead, the main contractor will be the one doing their risk assessment for them and then giving them. So I think, I don't know, but I think the best practice should be, even if the contractor is coming in to make 2 days or have limited scope for, the contractor is supposed to be in the place for them to, because they own their activity, they have that specialized knowledge. They are supposed to come out with their own risk assessment and then submit to the company, to the main contractor. The main contractor now can review it, and then maybe if they have some additional things they want to put in there, they can put in there. But what I realize is sometimes the main contractor is the one even assisting to make the subcontractor to be weak, because they do everything for them and they give it to them. And when the subcontractor goes on site and start executing the activity, they don't even know what is in the risk assessment. If you are making some inspection and then you come, you ask them, in the risk assessment, you say you are going to do this, do that, implement this control, put these control measures in place. And maybe the supervisor or the engineer in charge is surprised. He has the document, but he's surprised. He don't know what is written there because the main contractor does everything for them and then just did not communicate to them and give it to them. So I think that is what I noticed from my side. And I don't know how the contractor really can put in place measures to see that even if a small company or a limited scope of work is being carried out, that company which is coming in should do its own risk assessment. I take risk assessment as an example because it is a very important document. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that contribution, Mr. Manuel. I will just try to maybe make one or two input based on what you have said. Yeah, we see this more often, within some organization because, and like I always tell people, we are health and safety professionals, okay? So I believe we are the one that understands better, okay? It takes an organization that have the heart, of health and safety, like maybe the oil and gas, where you see all departments are working together. Every department respects other departments. We find ourselves in an organization that when you're even speaking as a health and safety personnel, people will just look at what you're saying as irrelevant. Okay? So, but some of us, we have this experience that we've been to a solid and robust organization that whatever you say, people respect your opinion. People respect what you say, especially when you're coming from the aspect of health and safety. See, no matter, even if it is one day, what the regulations state, what the guidelines state, what the law states, no matter how small the work is, imagine that you are going into the oil and gas. I don't think there's any work you want to do in oil and gas that you say is a small or minor kind of job. Did you understand? Considering the volatility of the facility or the kind of nature of work that they are doing. Okay, so for me, it is very important that irrespective of what the activity is, what the number of days they are going to spend, it requires that they provide all this. Because I've worked in a facility. My previous organization I was in the facility management. We oversee that facility, and we have a lot of contractors that comes. Okay, so even if there are some things you avoid, there are some things you cannot avoid. They should be able to provide some certain documents. You need to review it. Even sometimes when I review those things, sometimes I just see that there are some that I will have to send it back. They need to include certain things. Then there are some things I cannot decide to overlook that are not there and that's okay. My team will monitor that aspect. They are not much another, but see, it is a requirement. They should, because if you are working in the safety department, you are in charge of all these things, you are not telling them the right thing. Most organizations, I'm sorry to say, like most of our eye brothers here, especially in the Middle East, you see, they overlook these things, they take it upon themselves, even as a client or a contractor, HSC. So that is why most organizations, they see it as your responsibility. You that are HSC coming from the client side, you that are HSC from the main contractor. So you see, these are the issues we have sometimes, that some people will tell you, as a safety, you are responsible for providing method statements. I keep arguing it professionally. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I keep arguing it that as a safety professional, you need the knowledge. You need to understand what a method statement is, but you don't have the right. On no jurisdiction should you even have the right to develop method statements except you are in authority of that task or that job that they are doing.
Even if you are in the authority self, it's not fair and it's unprofessional.
It's not professional. So
it's
for me, I always try to argue that out because I've seen situations, I've been thrown to such an this thing that will say, I have to. I said, no, 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 it's not my job. I cannot do it, and I will not do it. Take me anywhere. I can defend it. But I know a lot of professionals, safety professionals, they do it. They throw it to them. They do it. You know, so
Because
sometimes
if you are doing a method statement, then automatically then you become a site engineer or you become a civil
so
supervisor.
this is where most of those issue comes. This is where those
So
things comes in. You know,
I have
so
a
we
colleague. I have a colleague. Was it not just last week? We're talking, and he said he's preparing a method statement. I told him, guy, I hate hearing talks like this. That the
you took
professional person,
responsibility
like
for whatever
that,
happens.
an HSC professional of your level who has worked in the Middle East, work in Nigeria, you are telling me you're the one preparing a method statement. Do you know, first and foremost, do you know what is a method statement? You should understand. Do you know the scope of the work they want to do? Do you know the tools they want to use in doing the job? Do you know the engineering design? Because this is what you are telling me that you are about doing now. I say, anyway, I'm sorry. I don't like hearing things like this. I don't know. We can discuss about it because when you continue like this, you get me offended. He said,
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
I said, for me, I don't like hearing it.
That's
So
it. That's what it
uh
is. You know.
that's just the truth. Okay, sorry. I don't know if you have done so that I can just bring
No, it's
my
okay. It's
little.
okay. At least I've poured more light on what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That no matter how small, no matter how
Yes.
many days they want to spend, you see those documents. They are very important because it will also protect us as a client or as a main contractor as well. Because what ISO said is that, and what some of the law says is that we should be able to manage contractor. There are guidance document that empowers us as a main contractor or as a client to be able to monitor contractors. So if we fail in that aspect, nobody will be looking whether the contractor comes for 1 week, maybe their scope is within 1 week, 2 days, 3 days. If you fail in that aspect, you are going to be held responsible. So for me,
Yeah.
that's just my advice for us.
Okay, like I will just bring it in the like I use my organization as a benchmark or a case study. In SIPEM, first and foremost, we have a procedure that we call the subcontractor procedure. First, this we have for corporate and we also have for individual country level. And in this country level, this is what we take into project because project cannot design its own now because that is maybe on the local country level. Now, then in this procedure, when we come in or want to have any subcontractor or want to work in our facility, what is expected from the subcontractor? There are requirements. During the phase of bidding, you will be made known. And you have to first submit even your document in the phase of bidding for us to know your history as a subcontractor. Then if you win this contract, then you will not submit because the contract may be of maybe civil fence work or you'll be handling a particular scope in the project as per se. Then you have to submit all the documentation, your method statement, your personnel, the certification of all the personnel you want to use as per their positions, for us to know that you are bringing in professionals to handle the job that you're about doing. Then the engineering will ask you, you bring in they will give you the engineering design, then you are going to give to them how you want to do your job. HSE will tell you, give us this, our requirement. You have to tender all your documents. HSE has to review and we give back to you. Now, let's go into, for example, Aramco that we are dealing with. Aramco has a document we call CSSP, Contractor Site Safety Program. Now, this document is a very powerful document. When you come to Aramco facility, let's say over 99 contractors that are working in, okay, let me say 95% of contractors working in a contractor company working in Saudi Arabia, they are all working for Aramco. I think we have like 10% working with some other company we call Sabic and all that, and they are still on joint venture with Aramco. They all has this document. We at SIPEM, we provide our own CSSP procedure to the project management team. They are going to review this document, and in this document, you are stating your programs, your document level, operational level, from the beginning of the project till the end of the project, because Aramco is going to do their measures. They are going to perform their measures according to what you have provided to them, that was reviewed, that was approved for the project, except there are some area that there will be waivers, or as the case may be. So if truly you now deal with some subcontractors who are coming into your facility to work, and they are still expecting you to do GSA, still expecting you to do work method statement, still expect, you can support a subcontractor maybe with equipment, but not with this, as per se, professional documents that they need to provide for you to see that this subcontractor itself know what they are about to do in your facility. Because if they cannot provide the certain document for them to show they are safe, then automatically you are sitting on the cake, on a time bomb, because the moment you turn your back and they start practicing an unsafe system in your facility, before you look, somebody have lost his life or somebody has cut his hand. And then what will now happen? So when we handle subcontractors in our facility or within our yard or in our organization, we deal with them with a very high sincerity, because in most cases, the company itself has a belief on the professional team they are driving with, that yes, these ones time with history, we've known them, we've worked with them, but these subcontractor coming in, we don't know them. So how, if they don't prove themselves to us by providing their history and some of these documents, how do we work? I have a subcontractor that is doing the solar work for me here, just about 3 weeks now they've been working. The first thing, at the moment they finish with the base manager, and they came to me, I just tell them, I said, first and foremost, I need you to provide me your work method statement, the CV of the guys you are coming to do with the CV of the guys you are bringing to do the job, or where they learn their work. Let me get their trade test. And provide me your GSA with the work method statement. So he sent me one GSA that is so watering. I told him, I'm sorry. The GSA you provide to me, I cannot see a clear explanation of your control of the risk, but of the risk involved in your job. Can you please go back again? And he put the base manager in copy, because he felt maybe I'm trying to stress him. I said, please, you cannot get the permit to do your job. I need to see a complete risk assessment. He said, okay. The next day again, he sent me something. I told him, please, can you do more better than this? And then before I look, it took him another 3 days again before he was able to provide me a document that met my satisfaction. And the base manager did not even get involved. He just allowed me to do my job, because if anything happened, he will shift it to me. So when we deal with subcontractors, we must be very, very thorough, because without so, they are looking at, oh, we are paying them, and they are looking at, we need to do fast to save costs. So if you're not thorough in handling them, you get yourself blamed at the long run. Irrespective of the short 2 days, 3 days, always ensure that the safety measures are up to standard and they are met, to ensure that your job, they satisfy you, so that you don't get yourself involved in their cost saving in any case. So I think for us, we don't joke with our subcontractors' supervision, because we even evaluate them at the end to see that the ones that we need to blacklist, we blacklist them. This is another decision we take. We evaluate them. I think it was just about 3 months ago that my QHSE manager in Saudi just sent a mail that they have to even increase the method of evaluating them before we can give them job.
Yes,
And I can still remember in my last my former yard in Star, before a subcontractor got a job, the safety comment during evaluation contributes to one of the best consideration before they can give them contract. They want to see how they've performed before. If not, even if you are doing an existing job and there is a new contract, if there is a drop in your percentage in safety compliance, you might lost the next project, even you're already existing in the yard. So supervision of subcontractors must be very, very thorough. So that is for me.
Sorry, let me come in. I have a question for Mr. Francis, please.
Yeah.
So there is this doubt I always have in my professional life. Okay. I want to, how do we ensure that the integrity of the incident statistics that contractor, subcontractor, supplier at the tender stage are trustworthy? Because if I'm a subcontractor, I want to tender for a job, I will do some window dressing, make my books become very nice and clear in the outside.
You are correct.
How can we verify that the records which date 1, 2, 3, 4 previous years, including
I think that is very simple. Like if I want to, let's go that we have, yes, we have some minor, or how do we call it, local subcontractors. But if it is a registered subcontractor that has a good registration process, like for Aramco now, all subcontractor has history that has been working in their project. And if you want to ask them of their performance, they will show it to you within a twinkle of an eye. So it is easy to verify this kind of data. Even in my organization, we have the history of all our subcontractors. So if you want to verify them, it is very simple. We go to our archive, we bring to you, this man, when they work in our project, this is the number of incidents he got. In this subcontractor, this is what he got. So except this, the company body that manages the subcontractor does not have a good data management. If they do, it is simple to track.
Okay.
You don't do such with SIPEM. Like in SIPEM, we even have in London, in India, we have a third party that manage our environmental data. You can imagine that. So all we submit globally, third party have another evaluation, having a look into our data. So you can imagine this is additional cost expenses be spent by company. So you can imagine if we can do this, then our subcontractor data are simple to manage.
Okay, can I say something?
Hello.
Can I say something?
Hello.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you,
yes,
Prof.
Go on, brother.
Right.
Okay, I don't know. I'm very sorry. I'm always joining these sessions late.
No problem.
But I just came in and I had to meet the section this late. But I think it's a good topic and it's a disturbing one too. Why I say it's a disturbing one is because, on those of us that are HSE people in the construction and HSE are never friends.
Absolutely.
Construction is about production, while HSE is about doing the job well. So we are never friends at all. You always see them wanting to take shortcuts. You always see them bringing generic documents. You understand? For a job that they have done previously, or maybe elsewhere, they want to do a job with you. You see them bringing generic document. And in the documents, when you are reviewing as a HSE person, you start seeing some sections or you start seeing some materials that are not even concerned with the job. They're not even concerned with this particular job, but because it's a generic, document. It's always a cut and raise thing when we want to review the document. So I think for me, I just have my contribution will be that there is a practice we do here in Bonny, in Saipan here. We do what we call HSE starting strong for all our subcontractors when we want to engage them or let's say after engagement to do the job. We do what we call HSE starting strong. So what do we do in the HSE starting strong? Contractor gets to meet subcontractor. Everybody in the top management system